Now that we are aware of what role a particular mineral element has in the development and growth of a plant, we deal next with the deficiency symptoms a plant is going to show in case a particular element is absent, okay, in the nutrient solution or in the soil. Whichever element is present in least quantity or the critical quantity is not being matched in the soil solution, then the plant is certainly going to show a deficiency symptoms. And once we are aware of those deficiency symptoms, that particular deficiency could be overcome easily and plant can show a proper growth pattern and development. That is our motto in terms of plant growth, that various agriculturists, it is very important for them. So the deficiency symptoms need to be understood when we deal with plant growth and development, because mineral elements, as we discussed, they play a very crucial role in development of plant, and if they will not be present, that development would be hindered. So basically we deal with various nutrient deficiencies and the symptoms that plant shows. On a gross level, we can classify the deficiency symptoms. We are going to discuss in detail the deficiency symptom which each element shows, but at a gross level we have three different types of deficiency symptoms which a plant shows, and the first one is chlorosis. Now as you can see over here, the name suggests it has something to do with chlorophyll, because I have written chloro, that is something related to color, and this chlorosis is seen in the plant when chlorophyll is deficient. Chlorophyll, you know what all are required for formation of chlorophyll. So first of all, if the iron content in the soil is less, the plant is going to show chlorosis. I'm sorry, it's not going to show, it's going to show chlorosis. Then we have magnesium. Magnesium is also important for the formation of chlorophyll. That is why magnesium deficient soil is going to lead to those plants which would be having chlorotic leaves. Then we have zinc. Zinc is an important component for the formation of oxons, and that is again an important component for important, you know, promoter for the development of chlorophyll. So we have these three elements which, if not present in appropriate quantity, are going to lead to the condition known as chlorosis. And what is chlorosis? Deficiency of chlorophyll. That means the leaves would not be green. If they are not green, you must have observed in certain plants there are leaves which are yellowish in color. So that condition is known as chlorosis, where the leaves turn yellow instead of green. And green is what is required, as you know, in photosynthesis. That is the green pigment which is reflected back. The green leaves are responsible for carrying out the photosynthesis. If the leaves turn to be yellow, they are going to die after some time. You must have seen, when you see these leaves falling in the autumn season, must have observed, first of all the tree turns yellow, then the tree yellow, but not that other pigmented yellow as you see in those beautiful wallpapers and those autumn beautiful gardens, those yellow turned yellow leaves or the bright yellow leaves. It's not the pigment, it's dying of the leaf, because chlorophyll is not present. So do distinguish between the pigments. Those are chromoplasts and chlorotic leaves. Chlorotic leaves would become yellow as if they are deficient in something. Alright, after some time that chlorotic leaf would become papery, and you must have seen when you put your feet on dry leaves, they give a sound as if you're cracking some sort of paper. That papery sort of thing is because of the condition known as necrosis. Chlorosis is due to deficiency of chlorophyll, the leaves turning yellow, and this necrosis is an English word you must be knowing. This is death, okay, it signifies death. So the death of the plant part, and it is almost always, it succeeds chlorosis. That means chlorosis is often followed by necrosis, where the leaf or the plant part would become paper sort of, and it would die after some time. That means it would become from yellow to brown transition, or that grayish transition, when the leaf falls and completely dies off. And this necrosis takes place when there is deficiency of calcium, phosphate and potassium, the three important components which are required for various plant growths and synthesis of the plant components. If they are absent, it would lead to the condition known as necrosis. And the third condition is dieback. Okay, if ever you might have paid attention to the plants which are in the situation of dying, they dry up, necrosis takes place slowly and steadily, their stem dies off one by one, the entire part, all the parts of the leaves, or sorry, plant, they are going to die off. That particular condition is known as dieback, and this dieback is caused by many fungal and viral diseases which occur in plants. And if it is occurring in a situation like you are having, you're taking a hydroponic solution for understanding which particular element is responsible for causing dieback, it would be copper. Alright, copper is an important ionic component that is responsible for synthesis of few cofactors, enzyme and protein cofactors. So if this copper is absent in the soil, the plant is going to show dieback sort of situation. Now if you have to understand what is dieback sort of situation, you must have seen those plantation trees. Out of all those plantation trees, a few trees would be in the death stage. Or you see, put a particular potted plant and don't water it for a few days, let that soil solution be old, or put extra water in it. What would happen, that plant is going to die slowly and steadily, each part of the plant would wither off. Okay, so that condition is known as dieback. Simplest understanding you have to make, that dieback is the condition when the entire plant would die, and that starts from root itself. So these are the three gross nutrient deficiency symptoms that we observe. Now we are going to deal with how does it look in a plant when we have a nutrient deficiency. So first of all, we are dealing with here, that is a yellow leaf. Okay, it is not growing completely, it is having green veins, but the leaf is yellowish. That condition occurs when the soil is deficient in iron. Alright, this yellowing of the leaves, what we termed it? We termed it chlorosis. Okay, first one is iron, yellowish leaves would be there, they would be whitish, but the green part would only be veins. It would be like you are drawing a green leaf, you put yellow color and with green pen you are drawing the veins of the leaves. Okay, then we have potassium deficiency. We know that NPK, nitrogen, potassium and sodium are very important, not sodium, it's nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus which are important. I'm sorry, it's not calcium. The potassium is very important, it is a vital component for plant growth, because you know potassium plays an important role in ionic balance and movement and stomata closure and opening. So if the potassium is present in less quantities, you would see, as you can see in this leaf, the yellowing would occur at the tip of the leaves. And if the potassium deficiency is quite grave, in that condition you're going to see yellow patches on the leaves. Okay, dead and yellow patches on the leaves where you see necrosis properly occurring. You must have seen few leaves where it seems as if some grey patch has been drawn, and that occurs due to the deficiency of potassium. Then we have another important component which is very much required for the growth of plant, that is nitrogen. Nitrogen is very important because it is component of amino acids. Now supposedly the soil happens to be deficient of nitrogen, what we are going to see is that the upper leaves would be light green. Alright, they would not be as green as they are required, they would be light green and they would be shriveled. When I say shriveled, you must have seen that leaf is such. Whenever you draw, you must have seen. Supposedly this particular part of the leaf, it gets folded like this. Suppose you have a paper and you fold it from the sides, that would be shriveled leaves. And wherever you see those shriveled leaves, like this is what a leaf is, dorsi-ventrally flattened. I fold it from these sides, I fold it from these sides, which I can't do with my hand though. But if I fold it that way, that would be a shriveled leaf, and that would suggest that the soil is deficient in nitrogen. As you can see in this picture, they have folded little bit sides of the leaves. So that shows the nitrogen deficiency. Moreover, they would not be green, they would be yellowish. That means chlorosis would be occurring over there as well. Then we have another important component. So we dealt with potassium, we dealt with nitrogen, N and K is done. Now we have to see what is if the phosphorus is absent. Now phosphorus is very important, you know, phosphate, ATP and the DNA components are made up of phosphate. Phosphate plays an important role. So what if phosphorus is not present in the soil, or it does not reach the critical concentration it must have? So first thing we are going to see is that there would be loss of leaves. Okay, the leaves would shed off, easily shedding off, green leaves would be shedding off, and if that is not occurring, at least you can see that the leaves are quite darker than the usual, as you can see over here. Okay, The leaves are quite darker than their usual color. That would be dark olive sort of color that the leaves would be showing, and it would be due to the absence of phosphate in the soil. Now we deal with magnesium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency, as you can see over here, again chlorosis would be seen. So in case of magnesium deficiency, the lower leaves, you see chlorosis in upper leaves is a different phenomena. Chlorosis in lower leaves is due to some different element. So upper leaves would be due to iron, it would be due to zinc, of course. The lower leaves would be showing chlorosis due to absence of magnesium in the soil. Alright, then we come to manganese. Manganese is also very important because it is responsible for splitting of water. Again, it acts as an important cofactor in various enzymatic activities. So what you see in case of deficiency of manganese, that there would be spots in the leaves. Okay, if not spots, there would be holes in the leaves. That shows that the plant is deficient. The plant is deficient in manganese in itself. That points that the soil needs more of manganese in it. Okay, not magnesium, manganese. So the yellow spots and the holes between the veins, that would be suggesting a manganese deficiency. And last one is of course carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, just get rid of the dioxide thing, simply talking about carbon. If carbon is not present in the adequate amount, it is going to lead to the situation where the plants are going to show stunted growth. Alright, there is a plant showing dieback. That means slowly tip of the leaf is going to get yellow. It would show chlorosis. After that it would undergo necrosis, and slowly the entire plant is going to die. So that condition of dieback would be seen when the plant is not given carbon in ample amount, because carbon comes from atmosphere. So we cannot say that soil is deficient in carbon. So this is one thing, that is atmospheric deficiency would be there. Nitrogen, because it is taken from the soil, so again it would be a soil borne deficiency. So these are all the various important, in fact micronutrients, except for iron, macronutrients, not micro. Pardon me, I'm having a lot of problem today. So this iron is having an important role. It is a micronutrient. We did discuss earlier as well. It is a micronutrient, but it plays a crucial role in terms of chlorophyll. That is why it gets a place with all these important macronutrients. So these are the various signs of nutrient deficiency which a plant shows, and it is a signal that the soil content is having less of the nutrients. We need to take care that the soil is rich in these nutrients, and the plant shows symptoms. We need to take care of these symptoms and make sure the plant is undergoing a proper growth and development. Apart from these, there are other nutrient deficiency symptoms which we deal individually when we talk about each and every element. And apart from the nutrient deficiency, there is a condition known as toxicity which we deal with next. Thank you.